What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another weekly predictions video here on Touchdown Kingdom. Week 10 is in the books and we're super excited to bring you our predictions for Week 11. As always, thank you to our proud sponsor BetUS for powering today's video. Let's get right into it. Up first, we have the Commanders at the Eagles. The week starts with an epic divisional matchup on Thursday Night Football. Both teams have been playing very well as of late, especially Philly, who have won 5 in a row, while the Commanders did lose their last matchup. Regardless of that, I think this could be the game of the week. I love what we've seen from Jaden Daniels so far this year, and he certainly has what it takes to beat the Eagles, but the home field advantage in Philly is real, especially on primetime, and I fear the bright lights might be a little too much for the rookie to handle. Eagles win 24-21. Next, we have the Packers at the Bears. The Bears' season is stalled out after a promising start. They've now lost 3 in a row and will be desperate for a home win against a division opponent to get their season back on track. But this is definitely the Packers' game to lose. They're still the better team, and I expect a bounce-back performance from Jordan Love, who hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in their last 2 games. Packers get it done 27-20. Moving on to the Browns at the Saints. It's a dark time for both of these teams, but someone has to come out on top. New Orleans does have the better offense, as they find themselves in the middle of the pack when it comes to both yards per game and points scored per game. When comparing those stats to the Browns, who sit at 31st and 29th in both of those categories, the Saints should have what it takes to outscore. This won't be a pretty game, but I like the Saints to win at home. New Orleans wins 24-23. Next, we have the Colts at the Jets. The Jets continue to find ways to sink to new levels that we didn't even know existed. Last week it was a failure to score even a single touchdown against the Cardinals and 20 missed tackles on the other side of the ball. The Colts are simply not a good team, but we've seen the Jets blow it one too many times this year, and I have zero faith in them to win games that they should. I'm giving this one to the Colts 21-13. Are you looking for a new book this football season? Well, BetUS is the answer. BetUS is the #1 online sportsbook in the world with the fastest payouts in the industry. BetUS has 24/7 personalized service all year long, and they also have live wagering options for all games. They simply have the best betting variety in the business. All of the odds we break down in this video will be directly taken from BetUS Sportsbook website. Sign up today and get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 using the code YouTube150. Moving on to the Vikings and the Titans. It wasn't a pretty performance by any means, but the Vikings did find a way to win last week and are currently sitting at 7-2 on the year. On the flip side, the Titans' struggles continued and their season is all but over. This should be an easy win for the Vikings as they look to improve on their performance from last week and get back to scoring touchdowns seemingly at will. Minnesota wins 28-17. Next up, the Raiders and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are back in the win column after beating the Rams last week. They have another winnable game on the schedule this week against a bad Raiders team. This is definitely Miami's game to lose, despite their struggles so far this year. Tua being back in the lineup has clearly given the team new life, and I like their chances at home this week against an inferior team. Dolphins win 24-18. Moving on to the Jaguars at the Lions. Any given Sunday is a common football expression used to remind people that any team can be beaten at any time. That being said, I don't think that applies to this matchup. The Lions have won 7 in a row, while the Jaguars remain one of the worst teams in football. Detroit are 2 touchdown favorites in this game for a reason, and I think this will be a blowout. Lions win 31-13. Next, we have the Rams at the Patriots. The Rams are the favorites in this one, but I think this will be a close game, and I even think the Patriots have it in them to come out on top. Since head coach Gerard Mayo called his team out a few weeks ago for their poor play, his players have seemed to respond in a positive way, and their performance has improved overall. The Rams are the picture of mediocrity, and it's tough to predict how they'll play from week to week, but I do like the Patriots to get a sneaky win at home. Patriots win 20-17. Next, we have the Ravens at the Steelers. This should be a great game between these two storied rivals. Both teams are playing very well in what is one of the toughest divisions in football. The Steelers find ways to win, whether it's their defense or a game-winning touchdown pass from Russell Wilson to newly acquired wide receiver Mike Williams. However, the Ravens have the better roster overall, more weapons on offense, and an elite defense to match. Division games are always tough to predict, but I feel like the Ravens should definitely get the job done on the road. Ravens win 27-21. Up next are the Seahawks and the 49ers. CMC is back in the lineup for San Fran, and he made an impact in last week's win over Tampa Bay. This is an important division game for the 49ers, who are looking to win out and get back to the high conference standing that we're used to seeing them in every year. The Seahawks are hit or miss every week, but regardless of if they play well or not in this matchup, I like the Niners to play better and get the win. San Francisco gets it done 24-17. Moving on to the Falcons at the Broncos. Denver are 1-point favorites at home in what should be a close matchup. After a miserable start to their season, the Broncos have started to turn things around even though they did take an L last week. However, they hung in there against the best team in the league and had the opportunity to win the game in the final seconds. On the flip side, the Falcons are playing well overall, and I do think they're the better team. But something tells me that the Broncos will get the job done and get a sneaky win. Broncos win 24-23. Up next, we have the Chiefs and the Bills. Another contender for the game of the week. These two powerhouse teams are finally going back at it. We're used to seeing these two quarterbacks go head-to-head in the playoffs, and it will be exciting to see if Josh Allen and the Bills can hand Mahomes and the Chiefs their first loss of the year. The Chiefs remain undefeated due to crazy circumstances, as Mahomes hasn't played great overall throughout the season. Josh Allen is currently the better quarterback, and especially in their own stadium, I'm predicting a Bills win. Buffalo gets it done 31-28. Next, we have the Bengals at the Chargers. The Bengals' nightmare season continued last week as they were unable to beat the Ravens in a crazy game. This week, they have to take on the 6-3 Chargers, who are playing very well under head coach Jim Harbaugh. The spread in this game is only a point in favor of LA, and while Joe Burrow continues to put up numbers every week, the Bengals' defense has been their downfall. I expect a big game from Justin Herbert and the Chargers' offense. LA wins 27-24. And finally, we have the Texans at the Cowboys. It's a battle of Texas on Monday Night Football as CJ Stroud looks to get his team back on the winning side of things after losing their last two games. This should be a very winnable game for Houston against a Cowboys team that seems to be falling apart more and more as the days go on. We have star players calling out their coach, an owner who refuses to take more of a backseat role, and an injured quarterback who fans question anyway. Dallas is a mess, and this should be looked at as a get-right game for Houston if they get the job done. Texans win 30-20. Alright guys, that's going to do it for another video here on Touchdown Kingdom. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates, and as always, most importantly, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your predictions in the comments section below. As always, thank you to BetUS for powering today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.